We want to lift you higher.
If you are in your 20s and trying to figure out how to build wealth and grow your net worth, follow these 6 tips. Focus most of your time and energy on growing your income instead of obsessing over investment returns. When I started, I would spend most of my time sitting on my laptop researching individual stocks to buy. I would then buy the stocks I thought would be hot, hold them for a few months and promptly sell them once they increased in price by 10 to 15%. What I didn't realize at the time was that I didn't have enough capital to even make my returns worthwhile. A 10% return on a 500 Rand investment was only 50 Rand. After trading fees and taxes, I would often walk away with less than 40 bucks in profit. Instead of obsessing over earning investment returns, I should have focused most of my time and energy on developing skills in areas that I could have leveraged to boost my income. When you're just starting out, the majority of your net worth growth will come purely from the gap you create between your income and your spending. And one of the best ways to create this gap is by picking up skills and knowledge that can increase your income by tens of thousands of rands each year. Follow opportunity and not passion. Most 20-something-year-olds want to identify their passion as quickly as possible and use that passion to make the mark on the world. Unfortunately, making a meaningful impact requires money, skills, and knowledge, all of which takes time to accumulate. My advice would be to pursue skills, money, and knowledge as much as possible in your 20s so that you can have the means to actually impact society in a meaningful way in the following decade. The more money you have, the more freedom you have to do the work you actually want to do. This enables you to focus your attention on places where you can have the greatest impact, since you aren't forced to work at a job you hate just to pay the bloody bills. Many of us have bought into the cliche, pursue your passion. For many, this is terrible advice. In your 20s, you may not really know what your best skills and opportunities are. It's much better to pursue learning, personal discipline, and growth, and to seek out connections with people across the planet. For a while, it's just fine to follow and support someone else's dream. In so doing, you will be building valuable relationships, valuable knowledge, and at some point your passion will come and whisper in your ear, "I'm ready." As a 20-something-year-old, it can be hard to know what your best skills and opportunities are simply because you don't have a ton of experience. For this reason alone, it's a good idea to pursue constant growth and accumulate a skill set that creates demand for your work. This naturally leads to opportunities for more income. Acquire knowledge in niche subjects and use that knowledge to boost your income. As a general rule of thumb, if you have knowledge in an area that most people find difficult or dreadful, you can make good money. Land a high-paying job or carve out time for a side hustle that will allow you to earn extra money outside of your day job. If possible, acquire knowledge in one of these areas and use that knowledge to boost your income through tutoring or even consulting. Become obsessed with accumulating assets. This is by far my most favorite and the most straightforward path to building wealth in your 20s is to buy assets and avoid liabilities. An asset is anything that tends to increase in value over time or pays you money simply for owning it. Some examples are real estate, stocks, bonds, websites, and even businesses. When you spend 1 Rand on a liability, that Rand is gone forever. But when you spend 1 Rand acquiring an asset, that asset becomes the employee that works relentlessly to earn money for you. The more assets you own, the larger the personal workforce you have at your disposal that can grow your wealth for you. When you do start making good money, resist the urge to blow it on lifestyle upgrades. Most of the people I know making a good amount of money in their 20s bought a brand new car, or upgraded their apartment as soon as they landed a big time job. By doing this, they successfully cancelled out their high income with equally high expenses. If you're interested in growing serious wealth in your 20s, I recommend doing the opposite. Keep your cost of living low for the first few years, even after you start making good money. In particular, minimize the big three expenses of housing, transportation, and food. Simultaneously keeping these big three expenses low and increasing your income has proven to be a deadly combination for growing your wealth. The decision to resist lifestyle inflation is a major factor that allowed me to boost my net worth. Make more attempts than anyone else. In your 20s, one of the fastest ways to grow both personally and professionally is to simply make more attempts than anyone else. Instead of hanging around waiting for a raise, send out your resume to 10 different companies. Only one needs to respond in order to land that position that pays more per year. If I had been terrified of being rejected, it's likely that I would still be at my old job earning a very basic salary. Fortunately, I have learned not to associate rejection or failure with my identity as a person, and if I get rejected, I simply brush it off and move on. One of the biggest insights I have had personally is that success tends to be sticky in the sense that they stick with you and propel you further along in life, as opposed to failures which tend to fall away and be forgotten much quicker than you might think. By simply making more attempts, you put yourself in a position to rack up more successes, even if it does come with some failures. So my final advice to 20 or even 30-year-olds is to write more, send more cold emails, apply for more scholarships, more internships, more jobs, and more freelance gigs. Try more side hustles, more business ventures, and more investing techniques. Over time, you'll rack up a list of failures as well as successes, but successes will stick with you and help you advance. Failures will always fall away.